Hey guys, welcome to Gunpla TV. We are back after quite a long break, a little longer than expected, with episode 260.
260, and yes, we are back, and it was indeed a little bit of a break. And why do you have to use that word?
I don't know, Dad. Why do we have to use that word?
What was that special thing that I showed at the end of the last episode before we had our holiday? Do you remember what was that?
The glorious leg lamp?
The glorious leg lamp. Wasn't it beautiful?
It was.
It was beautiful. There's a lot of great comments about that, but I think I did some kind of voodoo on myself.
And why is that?
That is a good question. Why is that? So maybe I upset some Gundam god out there because I stole the leg from a kit and I didn't return it. But during the break, I had a little bit of an accident and I ended up breaking my leg. So actually this is probably the most painful Gunpla TV episode for me that I've ever done.
I'm so sorry.
Yes, but actually it happened in a Gundam related way too.
Okay, now guys, I haven't heard the story yet. He said he was leaving the story for this episode,
so it is a surprise. So in my room, I have like big, tall Gundam shelves, right?
Right.
Where I put all my collection. So last month I had the Perfect Grade Exia, and I've been getting some quite a few new things, right? So I figured, well, it's a nice break. It's a good chance to organize, right? So I got out my usual stool, and I stood up on my stool, and on top, the very top of my shelf, I have 1/400 scale white base. It's a really big white base thing. It's really cool looking. So I was up there, I'm up there dusting it, standing on my stool still, and I kind of reach over a little bit. I think I upset the balance of that chair, and floop! Fly over to the side of the chair I went, and my leg crashed onto the side of the chair as I came down so my whole body weight just snapped.
And
so
which bone did you break? It wasn't the whole leg.
It wasn't the whole leg, it's a bone called the fibula.
Fibula.
So there's like there's a big thick bone, and then there's a smaller bone on the side.
Right.
So it was that smaller bone that snapped.
Yeah, it wasn't both. It was one, but
just one.
It sounds very painful.
And even though it's a smaller one, you can't walk when that one's broken.
Right. Well, of course, because it's more delicate than...
Right.
Oh my gosh.
So there it is, my big shame. But
it's not shameful. We all have accidents. It's just sad how you landed. Like if that wouldn't have happened, if you would have just landed right onto the floor, it probably would have been okay.
It probably would have been fine. So, but yeah, a lot of apartments in Japan, they have hardwood floors and whatnot too. So, plus I'm not exactly a featherweight, so there's a bit of extra kilograms there that came crashing down with me as well. So. But I thought at first maybe I just sprained it, but after 2 hours I was like, yeah, I still can't walk.
My gosh.
I managed to hop myself to... It was my left leg, so I could actually still drive because my car is automatic, so I don't have to do a clutch. So.
You drive.
So I drove myself to the hospital.
Ambulances are free, Todd. You should have just called them up.
But I'm from America. America ambulance ride is like $1,000.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, if I don't have to call an ambulance, I'm good enough. I live on the second floor, which kind of makes it a bit more painful. But I managed to get down and get myself there, so. They're like, yep, they did the x-ray, and oh yeah, it's broken.
Oh my gosh. Well, wow.
Yeah.
I can't believe you drove yourself. But I'm glad to have you back.
Thank you very much.
I was really worried when it came in and you weren't here.
Yeah, I was gone for a few days last week as well, so.
But yeah, so Todd was going to bring us a much bigger kit today, but because of his injury, it's just a little hard to get around.
I've got the crutches now, so I can't really carry much.
So today, what have we got here?
Alright, so there was something that came in before the break, but that last episode we did, we was really busy. We had a lot of stuff to talk about. So I just kind of cut these out from the episode. I figure, well, I'll do it another later episode. So in December, we got new action bases. The Action Base 4 and the Action Base 5. So 5 is like a one-piece base, and these are more meant for the smaller HG and RG 1144 scale kits. And then 4 is a larger one that comes with like 3 bases on the bottom and a bit bigger stand and whatnot. And this is more for your master grades and RE100 kits. So we're just going to have a bit of a short episode today.
Yep.
And talk about some stands, which is something I wish I could do on my own.
I'm so sorry.
Alright, so let's have a look, shall we?
Alright.
Alright, are you ready for Action Base? And this is Action Base 4 and 5. So as we kind of just mentioned right now, Action Base 5, I'll start with the bigger number. This one is for your HG kits. You can see there is only one hexagonal shaped base at the bottom. Now there is only 2 colors available for these new action bases. You have your options of lovely, elegant black, or if you're more adventurous, the clear. So you have your choice. 5 and 4 are available in both clear and black. Alright, so let's take a look. One thing to point out the difference between the two right away, besides the fact that you have 3 hexagon bases and only 1 hexagon base here. If you can see looking at the side there, for the Action Base 5, because this is intended for more smaller kits like the HGs and the RGs, it has a bit of a smaller arm here on the back that helps support up the Gundams. And the 4 has a much longer arm here that you can use. Alright, let's take a look. I'm going to start with the smaller one first, just so that we can go from smaller to large. And let me pop off this is the first generation. This is not the Revive Gyan. This is the first generation Gyan with the parts for the Build Fighter parts. I don't remember the name of that special pack though. They had a special pack where they added the shoulders and the new head and this gun backpack and the dual shields. Somebody out there will remember. I'm going to link to it in the comments. But one thing to note about this older Gyan is, unlike a lot of the other HG kits, it doesn't have that hole, the hole in the butt that you can easily connect your standard typical peg to. So how would you work this onto a stand? And they give you some different options here. Alright, so let's take a look at what we have. So as I just mentioned, you do have the options for the peg style connector there, and they have this nice one here that extends out a bit so that you can easily maybe have this connected towards the back and have your Gundam sitting on this. And there's also just the straight up peg, so you do have a choice for which style of peg connector you would like to use. And they also have, these are also in the earlier action bases before as well, the usual type of clamp that is going to slot up the crotch area and kind of separate in the legs here. So, but this one was a bit too wide to fit into my Gyan. So let's try this other one here. You know, this one doesn't work either. So neither of these options worked for my Gyan. So I was like, wow, what am I going to do? And Bandai has thought of something for kits like these. I think some of the older style kits have trouble with this. Like, how can you connect it to the stand? They don't really give you a good adapter for it. But now with these new action bases, they do have something new that hasn't been included in earlier bases. And that is, I guess I call it the claw. Right there. So this is new, and I really like this because, let me see if I can just pull this off here. So this has the ability to kind of move out or move in. So you can use this to really grip onto the waists of whatever you want. And being that this one is clear, it kind of really blends in. So let me get this guy a bit closer here so you can kind of see what it looks like with that claw around the waist. And I feel that really holds it. That really does a pretty good job of holding it, actually. And when I connect it here, there's a little peg on the back, and I can just slot that peg into that waist there. Then I can position it here somehow. Well, like so. You kind of get the idea. Now, but speaking of positioning the kits, that is something I wanted to bring up as well. So I believe the earlier action bases. So I wanted to show off the difference between the older action bases and the newer ones. So actually, this is one of the ones that comes included with one of the kits, I believe. But it still works the same principle as the other earlier action base 1s and 2s. So on these action bases, you have a support on the back, like the main heavy support. And then here in the front, you have like this slot that you can use to position. You can position and change the angle. But this kind of limits, like there's not like a whole lot of limit or movement that you can do with this. You can unplug this and then move it to a different hole, and I guess that will give you a bit more. But
yeah, it's a bit limited.
It is a bit limited. And with the smaller one also, they have a similar kind of thing. So there's the stopper here that is on the bottom of it, and you can position it into one of the slots on the stand there, like so. But there's one good thing I do like about this, although this is kind of limited too as far as what you're able to set it as. But one positive thing about this is always connected. So with these newer stands here, they have these stoppers in the middle that are not connected, and you can remove it. So if you lose this stopper, you might not be able to use both of these at the same time, because you'll have nothing to prop the arm up. So that could be a problem if you lose the parts. And I know smaller parts it can be a bit easier to lose over time. So that is something that could cause a problem later on the road, I feel. But by using these, you are able to get better angles and whatnot for the arms. So the hexagonal base, there are a bunch of different slots around that you are able to plug in the arm to. So if you want to have it set up on the edge, you could do that, or you could have it in the middle. And then wherever you position it, however you want, the arms, there is a lock on the sides of both of these here. Let me see if I can get this one up there. So you're able to move the joints on the top, and you're able to move the joints on the bottom. But if you want to lock this joint on the bottom, you just flip the little switch, and you have it locked so that way it can't move. But there's no lock for that center portion, and that's where these little... It looks like ladders. Actually.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
I wonder, maybe if you're building a diorama and you really desperately need a ladder and you can't find anything else, then you could maybe steal one of these. So there's slots on both sides, the top and bottom of the arms, so you just figure out where you want to have your arms positioned, and you put your little ladder in the middle there, and that's what's going to keep this arm supported like so.
I mean, I know you're not fond of it being a separate piece, but it definitely has more options than
it definitely does. So that is
stands.
Good. That is one good thing. And you have they come with 3 different sizes for these ladders. So there's like a small, a medium, and a large. So you have different sizes, so you can get different angles on that. So that is pretty good. The only thing I'm concerned about is, of course, as I mentioned, losing these things over time. Alright, so what else does this stand come with? Let's talk about different options. Well, you never thought there'd be so much to talk about a stand, but there's really a lot of stuff to cover on this stand. It's quite amazing. It's wonderful. Now you have these little tiny pegs, and it comes with 2 pegs, and these pegs, although not in this one, these pegs you are able to work with, there's the other one, these little round pieces here. You slot one in the middle, and you'll notice on this round piece here there are some slots here as well. So if you really want, you can separate these 2 arms in the middle here like so. And when you do that, they also give you another arm piece that you can connect there. You can use this as an individual stand by itself. Although this peg isn't going to lock by itself, I just realized. So there will only be a lock here for the bottom, but when you have it in the separate mode here, this top part won't be able to lock. But the other arm part, this one still will be able to lock if you would like it to. So they give you another connector here, and you are able to connect this on like so, and there you go. So you can have, you can use both arms independently if you want. They give you that option. So
Bandai is challenging you to display 2 HG kits at once.
they are indeed, and that's what they show here on the manual here. So they're showing it. Yes, you can get 2 kits on there.
Just be careful about balance, kids.
Yeah, we'll be a bit careful about the balance.
Make sure you have 2 kits of equal size and weight. Otherwise, it's just going to topple over on one side.
Right. Although I guess if you use one of these round bases, what you could do is get this set up here, maybe. That'll lock this piece, and maybe here. But I guess that doesn't solve the problem of the top part not locking. Come to think of it.
Interesting.
Come to think of it. So yeah, I guess there's that kind of weird thing that I just kind of discovered here. That when you use them separate, you can't really. This one you can't lock the top, and this part you wouldn't be able to lock the bottom, unless I am indeed missing something. But alright, so I've spent a lot of time on this smaller piece, and I haven't even talked about the big one yet.
Well, the arms work similarly, right?
Right, so that's what I was going to mention here. Let's bring this bigger one back. Alright, so basically I talked a lot using that smaller one, but really the big one is basically the same. You get a lot of the same parts. A lot of these parts are identical, just they're more fitted for master grade size kits here. So I have here the crossbone, and he is just sitting on the usual type of peg like that just slots up on his waist, like so, and then he can sit, and I have that kind of ladder looking thing in the middle. So a lot of that stuff I don't need to cover again. It comes with the peg, the standard like butt peg things. So you can use the larger one for smaller HG kits as well if you would like. It also comes with these round parts that you can use on the bottom. Now one thing I haven't been able to mention yet, and the smaller one came with one of these arms here. So you can kind of use this to display weapons. I believe it mentioned you can use this that it's a peg type holder for weapons, it says. So if you want to have this, maybe use this to like help support him like firing a gun, and you can maybe help use this to like display dynamic pose and just use that to hold up the weapon. So that's kind of cool, because the other action bases here, you never got this like additional kind of support that would help you with the weapon type poses. And you only get one peg for the small kit, but for the larger one, you have a bendable longer twin connector one, so you can use these as you like for display. Another difference to mention is the master grade size, the Action Base 4, does come with a larger claw. Let me see if we can see it here. So there you go. So you can kind of see the difference. You get a larger claw here. This will be good for supporting and grabbing much larger kits, and the smaller one would be good for grabbing smaller kits. And one good thing about these bases, I think, they're not just useful for Bandai kits. You could probably use them for a lot more options or other manufacturers' kits as well. And
sure.
I'm going to borrow.
I mean, as long as you have that claw arm, you can basically grip it around any type of kit.
Whoops! I'm going to break your.
You did. You broke her.
Device. I broke her.
That was the part that I mentioned in the episode that actually required glue. So the reason it's coming off is because I didn't glue it. But yeah, that wraps around her waist. So you kind of need to take it off to remove her.
Okay, I just wanted to get her waist off there, so I can maybe try grabbing her with this claw.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
It'll be fine. It's a little bit. It's a little bit big. It looks like somebody's holding her from behind and giving her a nice
But because it's clear, it doesn't stand out as much.
It doesn't stand out as much. That's true as well. Although this particular kit does have like a peg style backpack, so you could
Yeah.
probably, let's see if the pegs are compatible. Oh, they are. So you could use the peg for that too. That would work. But yeah, you can use this arm for other stuff as well. Although Megami device, I guess, is a bit too skinny, maybe.
We are a bit daintier than Gundams.
In any case,
Just a bit.
And I need to give her a hand. Alright, so, well, I think I have rambled on quite long about these stands, but these are good stands. If you are in need of stands and you maybe want something a bit more dynamic than the original Action Bases, then definitely check out Action Base 4 and 5. I recommend at least everybody out there at least getting one of each just to give them a try and see which ones you prefer. Alright, that's about it. So these are some pretty decent stands. They've got a lot of options, which makes them fabulous.
Yeah, and it's been a while since Bandai's given us proper Gunpla stands as well, right?
Right, and I think with those clamping hands that you'd be able to use these for a bit more than just Gunpla too if you wanted. You could use it for figures and whatnot.
Oh, sure.
So.
Kotobukiya kits as well.
Right, not just like the standard peg in the butt type thing, so.
Yeah.
That's really, really great. Alright, well, speaking of stands and master grades, there was something else that came in recently.
Yeah.
That we haven't had a chance to take a look at yet, and that is the brand new RGM-79 GGM Command Colony type.
That is a mouthful.
That is indeed a mouthful. So we had another GM, the space type that was, I believe, 2 months ago, November. So this is a different type of GM. So I'm going to go ahead and give this one belt, I think, if I can.
Call me if you need help.
Alright. I think I should be able to manage. Hopefully the last GM I did was pretty straightforward, simple build. Didn't take too long to put together.
As usual, I love the box art.
Right, they have some pretty great box art this year. Lately. Okay, so do we have any comments?
Yes, we do. Alright. Our first one is from Galileo Zavi. Makes me remember that Japanese leg umbrella ghost. Why Todd only brings creepy stuff. You know, it does kind of remind me of that, except
right?
the leg umbrella ghost has like a single eye, a mono eye on it.
I should have thought of. I actually had no idea about that umbrella ghost before. I brought it into work, and one of my Japanese coworkers, he's like, "Oh, hey, that's a karakasa. That's what they call this monster. The name is karakasa." And I looked it up on the internet, and sure enough, it's just like exactly like.
Yep, it's just a leg with an umbrella.
One leg with an umbrella
and
on
a mono
top.
eye, usually a big tongue sticking out.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
I had no idea about that thing beforehand. But I should have bought like one of those little googly eyes from like a 100-yen store, and I could have put it on there. That's kind of cool though. But yeah, my intention for that was something completely different.
Okay, next up comes from Zero Gravity. Nice lamp. What will you think of next?
That is a good question, and you know what? It's not going to be any kind of body part.
Yeah, we're not jinxing Todd again. Alright, Chris X31. That lamp is quite sexy. Ooh. I can't wait to see what Bandai has in stores for us in 2018.
Yes, indeed. So we've got a whole brand new year. Happy New Year to everyone, if I didn't say that already.
We did not. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to everybody out there. Although it's a little bit late. But yes, 2018, new year, new Gundam kit. So February, we've got that one that I can't remember the name of now. It's a new RE kit, the GM... Oh, is it a GM something? It's really tall and it's got a bunch of guns. We'll link to it in the description below. So that's coming. And then when we were gone, and in the last episode we said, be sure to check out our site on the 1st to see there's something new, exciting going up. And that is, do you remember?
No.
That is the striker, the deep strike.
Oh, the deep striker, thank you.
This is monstrous MG deep striker. And that looks really cool.
It
That'll
does.
be out
It's gigantic.
March.
Gosh. You know, I was the one here, like, putting it up for you guys, and my mind has gone completely blank. I'm sorry.
You need a vacation.
Yeah. Another one.
Another vacation. And I need another vacation too.
Yeah.
I feel like I lost my vacation.
I'm so sorry. Oh. Anyways,
yes.
shall we move on to a happier subject?
We do have a happier subject. Okay.
And there he goes.
That is
He's
not
all
a
right.
happier subject. Alright, so we had a prize giveaway last week. That is the 2,000 yen.
Last week, I think you mean last month.
Last month, yeah.
The 2,000 yen bonus store credit.
Bonus credit if I can get my paper. Thank you very much.
I showed him the answer.
Sorry. Maybe some eagle-eyed viewers out there could already tell.
Alright, tell us who's getting the 2,000
the
yen.
random number generator gods have chosen comment number 73.
Alright.
We had quite a few good comments on that episode. 73, and that is Zaku Master. He's the master of Zakus.
And now he's the master of...
And now he's going to be the master of 2,000 yen. HobbyLink Japan Store credit. Congratulations, Zaku Master! And your comment is, that lamp sure was an interesting project. Yes, it was. I hope you had a happy holiday as well.
It was happy for a while.
It was. Oh, I did have a good time before that happened. I mean, that happened towards the end of the holiday, actually, just like a few days before I had to come back to work. So I was able to enjoy most of my holiday.
I'm glad. At least
that's not so bad. Well. All right.
Anyways, congratulations.
Congratulations, Zaku Master, and I will be contacting you eventually on HobbyLink.tv.
Yes.
All right, so what do you think for next week? Shall we do it again?
Yeah.
All right, so who else out there would like to have 2,000 yen HobbyLink Japan Store credit?
And how do they win that, Todd?
That's right. How do you win that? You have to go to... Well, first, you need to be a subscriber to our YouTube channel. But if you're watching, why aren't you a subscriber already? And after that, you need to go to HobbyLink.tv and find episode number 260 and post a comment, and maybe you too can be a lucky winner.
And after you check us out on HobbyLink TV, you can find us on Tumblr, Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook.
That sounds great to me. Alright, so everybody please remember, we are brought to you by HLJ.com, HobbyLink Japan. So please remember to buy your kits from us to help support us. And we should be back with a new episode a lot more quickly than the last break.
We'll be back on a regular basis.
We should be back on a regular basis. I am getting
there's any
better.
Other accidents.
The pain and the swelling is the worst part. The swelling is getting better, so I can actually sit at a table with my leg below the table now, so that's an improvement.
Oh my god, that sounds awful.
Right? And it's a good thing we got this table here so nobody can see my giant cast on my leg.
Anyways, we'll see you guys next time.
Yep. Have a good week, everybody.
See ya.